Okay, let's dive in. Welcome, everyone, to the deep dive. Today, we're really getting into something fundamental for building a strong business, especially, if you're running an independent gym or maybe a fitness studio. We're talking leadership, management, and those common traps that can seriously hold back growth.
Absolutely. And we've got a great source to guide us today. It's a white paper from Thomas. It's called The Strongest Gym Leaders Avoid These 5 Management Mistakes. And honestly, it's more than just a list of don'ts. It really feels like a practical blueprint for building, well, high-performing teams and weaving resilience right into your gym's culture.
That's a perfect way to put it. So, our mission here is to really unpack the core insights from this paper because, as Thomas points out right away, the real key to success, it isn't always about having the latest tech.
Right. Not the slickest software or the most advanced equipment. And look, those tools are definitely helpful. They boost efficiency, they support operations for sure. But this paper makes a really strong case that they aren't the foundation. The real bedrock for a gym that doesn't just survive but actually thrives. The kind that becomes a pillar in the community that comes down to the leadership. It's about how leaders guide their people.
Okay, so let's dig into that core argument then. It's people over tools. You could have like the most sophisticated CRM system imaginable or the coolest new training gear. But if your team isn't motivated, if they don't feel connected, or frankly, if the leadership is weak, well, those tools might just make you better at being inefficient or even dysfunctional.
Yeah, it's a really interesting way to frame it, isn't it? It puts the human element right back in the center. Technology is fantastic for automating things, sending reminders, managing schedules, all that stuff, but it just can't replicate, genuine interaction, that empathy, the personal connection that really builds relationships with members or fosters that sense of investment and empowerment among the staff. Thomas really emphasizes that leadership's main job is cultivating the environment where those connections and that strong culture can actually take root and grow.
That distinction really clicks, and it flows right into the first big mistake he calls out, which I think feels super common. It's prioritizing systems over people. That temptation to think, oh, if I just get this new app or this software platform, suddenly our retention numbers will shoot up.
Right.
Or this automated follow-up sequence will fix our team's lack of engagement.
And the mistake there is relying too much on tech to solve what are, at their core, human challenges. Thinking an app or a CRM can, by itself, build a great culture or boost morale or genuinely improve retention, well, the paper says that's a major blind spot.
Okay, so if that's the trap, what do strong leaders do instead, according to the paper? How do they avoid it?
Well, first off, they invest in their people first. They get that you can't just, buy software to develop your team. It means actually putting time and resources into training staff, not just on, say, sales techniques.
Right, the technical stuff.
Yeah, but more critically on communication skills, empathy, leadership fundamentals, how to handle conflict instructively, those core human skills.
Ah, okay. Focusing on those interpersonal abilities. So where do the tools fit in then?
Strong leaders use tools to make the system more human, not to replace the human touch. So automation might support conversations, but it should never be the conversation. Like a CRM might flag a member follow-up,
Okay.
but the leader makes sure that follow-up is a real personal connection, not just some generic email flying out.
Got it. So the tool enables the connection, it doesn't substitute for it. The paper also talks about keeping tabs on the team's emotional energy.
Yes, that's a really practical, important point. Strong leaders actively use things like quick weekly huddles, informal check-ins, maybe pulse surveys, or just genuinely having an open door,
Yeah.
to keep a finger on the pulse of team morale. They want to catch those early signs of burnout or disengagement before it really affects the team and, well, ultimately the member experience.
It really hammers home that idea, doesn't it? Efficiency is great, but it's the people that make it all work, which leads perfectly to that quote from this section.
Yeah, tools can optimize a gym. People make it great.
Spot on. A great summary of that first point. Okay, so if prioritizing people is step one, what about when managing those people gets uncomfortable? That brings us to the second mistake Thomas flags, avoiding difficult conversations.
Oh, yeah. This one feels incredibly relatable, right? That urge to just not rock the boat.
Totally. Let poor performance slide, or maybe water down feedback just to keep things superficially peaceful.
And the paper's really direct about the downside. It might feel kinder in the moment, but you're actually letting standards slip. By basically permitting behaviors that don't meet expectations, you're sending a message. You're setting a new lower standard for the whole team.
Oof. So how do leaders who get this handle that discomfort, those tough talks?
They lean into accountability. They tackle the difficult conversations respectfully, yes, but also directly.
Mhm.
Thomas puts it really powerfully. Silence isn't kindness, it's sabotage.
Hmm.
By staying quiet about issues, you're actually undermining your team's ability to perform well. You're sabotaging the gym's potential.
Sabotage. Wow, that's a strong word for inaction, but it makes sense. What else does the paper say about how they approach it?
They make sure expectations are absolutely crystal clear. No fuzziness about what success looks like in a role or how performance is measured. Everyone needs to know where the goalposts are.
Right, clarity is key. And when they do give feedback,
It's done with compassion, sure, but also directly. And, crucially, it separates the behavior from the person. The paper suggests framing it around actions and how to improve, using language like, look, this isn't about who you are as a person, it's about what happened here and what we need to do differently moving forward. It keeps the focus on the situation and growth, not making it personal.
yeah, that shifts it from blame to improvement. And that point about what you permit, it really ties into the quote here. Culture isn't what you preach, it's what you permit.
Exactly. A stark reminder that your actions or your inaction speak way louder than any mission statement you hang on the wall.
Oh.
Okay, so moving from avoiding issues to maybe being too involved. Mistake number 3. Micromanaging instead of empowering.
Ah, the flip side. So instead of avoiding, the leader is trying to control every single little thing, getting stuck in the weeds.
Precisely. The error here is the leader becoming a bottleneck, trying to oversee every tiny detail. And this doesn't just slow things down, it also, sort of accidentally, makes the team completely dependent on the leader. It stops them from growing their own initiative, their own problem-solving skills.
Right. So if a strong leader isn't micromanaging, what are they doing? What's their focus?
It's coaching, not commanding. The paper says to give the team the why, the purpose, and the desired outcome. But then, and this is key, they step back. They trust the team to figure out the how. That trust is absolutely fundamental for building confidence and competence.
And it's not just about the people directly reporting to them, is it? The paper talks about building leadership more broadly.
Yeah, definitely. It stresses building leadership at all levels. Empowerment means everyone feels ownership. From the person at the front desk making that crucial first impression, to the trainers on the floor, even the cleaning crew making sure the space feels welcoming, everyone feels like they have a stake in the member experience and the gym's overall success.
And when everyone feels that ownership, they don't need someone breathing down their neck.
Exactly right. They're united by the purpose. If the whole team truly understands and believes in the gym's mission, they become self-motivated. They don't need constant oversight because they're already bought in, working towards that bigger picture on their own.
That internal drive. It's so much more powerful than just external pressure, which brings us nicely to the quote for this mistake. The goal of leadership isn't control. It's creating more leaders.
Yeah, a fantastic summary of that idea of scaling your impact through others.
Yeah.
Okay, on to mistake number 4, failing to foster consensus and collaboration.
Okay, this sounds like the leader who makes decisions all alone, maybe sitting in their office looking at spreadsheets,
Yeah,
completely cut off from what the frontline staff are seeing and hearing every day from members.
that's the heart of the error. Making decisions in a vacuum, ignoring that incredibly valuable perspective from the ground level, and then just kind of expecting the team to fall in line and execute rather than feeling genuinely committed to making the decision work.
So how do strong leaders make sure their team feels included and actually committed to the outcomes?
They actively work to bring team voices into the process. They make it a point to involve people from multiple levels, not just senior managers, in strategy talks, in decision-making meetings. And it's not just for show. It's about genuinely wanting and valuing their input.
But people won't speak up if they think they'll get shot down or criticized, will they?
No, absolutely not. And that's why creating a safe environment for that input is critical. It's non-negotiable. The paper really highlights the importance of a culture where no idea is seen as stupid, no question is punished. That psychological safety, that feeling that you can speak up without fear, is essential for honest feedback and creativity to actually flow.
Okay, so once you have all those perspectives, how do they land on a decision everyone can actually support?
Well, they aim for unity, not necessarily uniformity. It's often unrealistic to think everyone will agree 100% on every single detail during the discussion. But because everyone felt heard, because they were part of the process, even those who might have initially disagreed are much more likely to align and commit to making the final decision successful. That inclusion really breeds buy-in.
It's about respecting the process and the people in it, which then earns commitment. The quote for this section really nails it. Quote, consensus is not weakness. It's a strategic asset when built through trust and clarity.
Leveraging that collective brain power through trust. Okay, finally, mistake number 5, leading without core values.
This sounds like maybe a gym that jumps on every new fitness craze that comes along, or
Mhm.
makes quick decisions based purely on short-term profit without any real guiding principles holding things together.
That's exactly the trap. Chasing fads, reacting impulsively to trends, or making tactical moves that actually go against the gym's stated mission or core beliefs. And that just creates massive confusion, right? For the team, for the members. People start wondering, what does this place actually stand for?
So, if strong leaders aren't just chasing popularity or the quick buck, what's guiding them?
Principle, not popularity. They use their clearly defined core values as a filter, like a non-negotiable filter for every single decision they make. And that includes the tough calls, even when the value-driven path is harder or maybe less immediately profitable.
And I'm guessing these values aren't just like words on a poster in the lobby.
Oh, definitely not. They weave those values into absolutely everything. Core values get connected to all the key operational stuff, who they decide to hire, how they onboard new team members, how they recognize achievements, and yeah, even how they handle difficult things like letting someone go. Values guide behavior constantly.
And when the values are that clear and leadership actually walks the talk, what kind of vibe does that create?
It creates a really powerful culture of belonging. When the gym's values are clear, lived out consistently by the leaders, the whole place becomes more than just somewhere to work out or clock in. It becomes a strong, authentic community that people feel genuinely drawn to. They want to be part of it.
You can absolutely feel the difference in a place like that. And the quote for this final mistake really sums it up. Adaptive, value-driven leadership builds a future-ready team that's unstoppable.
Yeah, linking those strong values directly to resilience and high performance in the long run.
So, pulling all these insights together from Jim Thomas's paper, the main message feels incredibly clear, doesn't it? Building a truly top-performing gym. It's not about putting things on autopilot or just staring at dashboards or thinking some app is the magic bullet.
Nope. It's built by leaders who truly understand that culture, that shared sense of purpose, and genuine emotional intelligence in how they interact with their team. That's the absolute foundation for lasting success.
So, if you're listening and maybe your gym is struggling a bit with retention slipping, or the team seems kind of checked out, or growth has just hit a wall,
Mhm.
this paper strongly suggests the answer probably isn't just buying another piece of software or implementing a new system.
According to this source, the most powerful upgrade you can make, it's often in the leadership itself. The future of your gym isn't ultimately built by the technology alone. It's built by your people and, crucially, by how you lead them.
Yeah, this whole deep dive into Jim Thomas's work really drives home how critical it is to shift focus away from just operational tweaks and towards these leadership fundamentals, putting people first, fostering real communication, genuinely empowering your team, encouraging collaboration, and anchoring everything in clear lived values.
Hmm.
These seem to be the keys to getting past those common management hurdles in our industry.
It really does reframe success, doesn't it? As
Yeah.
a fundamentally human thing, led by connection and principle.
Absolutely. And that leaves us with, I think, a really interesting question for you to chew on after this. How might actively, truly, intentionally building a culture of belonging, one that's really rooted in clear values that you demonstrate every day, how might that fundamentally change the day-to-day experience for everyone in your gym community, not just your staff, but every single member who walks through your doors? Thinking about creating a place that's more than just fitness, but a place where people feel they genuinely belong.